I said Sean Ra'is. I'm proud. I said Sean Ra'is. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
Phenomenal morning, phenomenal morning. Bobby Jackson, how you doing, sir? Phenomenal morning.
Doing well, Coach. How are you?
Absolutely phenomenal. So this is like a coaching clinic, right? A clinical corner. Let me call this a clinical corner of coaching on Facebook, LinkedIn. You know, I did this last week. I just popped up and people wanted more, right? You know how we do. We just pop up sporadically. I'm very spontaneous. I want people to understand that you don't need, perfect is not even fathomable, right? And what happens is people don't execute because they're waiting for everything to be perfect. So I said, let me just, drop in on them and see who's paying attention. So this is us dropping in on you guys to make sure that you're paying attention. Listen, follow me, highlight anything that we do so that when we do this, you'll be notified because we will not be doing this on a schedule. We will be popping up sporadically, seeing who's paying attention, right? So what are we doing this for? Why are we doing this actually? The reason why we're doing this is because you guys need help, right? They need help, Bobby. Right. They need help, right? They need help. And everything is monetized, right? You have to monetize everything. And you know me, like I love to monetize free. I love to give freely. I love to help people grow their brand, grow their business so that then in the future they can do business with us, right? Or those who might be on the ropes wondering who we are, what we do, we can introduce ourselves to them. This Friday, we have a phenomenal fireside chat. A lot of people may not be aware. You may be aware. I don't know. We're going to drop a link in real quick. Fireside chat. First Fridays. We do this the first Friday of every single month. Do not miss it. Do not miss this because this is a way for you to interact with us, right? For free. And learn what we do on the back end and be inside of a community of individuals that are looking to better themselves, better their communities, and better business. That's what I want to talk about today. Doing better business. Doing better business. So what does doing better business look like? Doing better. And I had a phenomenal interview with a woman earlier, and I was talking to her about morals, values, and principles. Does your business model align with your morals, your values, and your principles? Realistically, the kind of investments that you should be making are the kind of investments that give you a return. Now, of course, I always say ROI based on SOI. So it's return on investment based on speed of implementation. But there's a lot of courses, coaching, and things that you've invested in that you've tried to implement, right? You implement to your best degree, but the return on investment still doesn't come. You're still kind of waiting, right? If you're waiting for the return on investment, that's a real thing. So we want to help you go from what they call certified to monetized, or from certification to monetization. So, and that's why I brought Bobby on, because Bobby can speak to it, right? Bobby, how frustrating do you think it is for people to be certified, to have made investments, and still be kind of on the sidelines waiting for the confidence to show up and marry their competence and actually get monetized in this space?
It's super frustrating. It's super frustrating because I think we bank on our certification making us money instantaneously. I think in our minds, as soon as we complete the course, we believe that this added credential or certification is automatically going to show up in our bank accounts. And personal experience has shown and taught me that that's just not the case. You know, it's just not the case. What really happens, in my experience at least, is there's a process that you go through, because acquiring the knowledge is just one aspect of the process, but implementing, you know, that knowledge and the speed in which you implement that knowledge are all crucial. And I think that what you said makes so much sense, because some of us just don't know how to turn, or rather apply, the information that we've acquired. And I think that's where going from certified to monetized is so powerful. So I think that for me personally, it's extremely frustrating, because unless you can turn that intellectual property into actual real estate of some sort, or into a physical return, I mean, you might feel like you're the one, how do they say, the last one holding the bag. You're caught holding the bag. Like, you gave your money, they gave you their information, and now when it's all supposed to be, you know, finished, you feel like you're holding the bag with your hands up and no money in your bank account. And I think that can be frustrating.
Harsh reality. So shout out to Bridget Scarborough on LinkedIn. She said she wants to know what we do, right? So we help leaders become brands. I'm not really for there's smaller programs for people who are just beginning, right? But our core program, the Leadership Leverage, is for people who have the education, experience, and expertise. We call it the 3 E's. And we help them translate their 3 E's into 3 I's. So their education, experience, and expertise translated into income, impact, and independence. One of the things we do is help leaders become brands and make their yearly income monthly, their monthly income weekly, and their weekly income daily. So 60K doesn't have to be your yearly annual salary. It could be a bad month. It could be a terrible month. Just think about that. What would that look like if $30,000, $60,000, $90,000 became a month? That's one of the things that I help people do, is transfer their thinking from an employee to an entrepreneur, a real entrepreneur who's monetized and not just certified. So in the post that accompanies this, I talk about it's fun to be in a course. It's fun to be in a community. It's fun to buy things. It's fun to grow. It's fun to grow, and we're all engaged on growing. Everybody wants growth and development. However, everybody wants to return to. Everybody wants to return to. However, let me state that on your education, experience, and expertise, when you go for the education and you get a master's degree, that doesn't mean that you're promised a gig, right? Your education usually does not come with a secured, guaranteed job. You have to go get that. You have to go get that. And a lot of times they'll have these appendages, Bobby, right? So they got these appendage offices. I remember when I first went into college, they had the career development office, right? So you're learning the competency here. In my case, it was human services. So you're learning the competency here. And then on another wing, on another floor, in another office, maybe in another state, they're talking about career development and job boards. So you have to get the competence, and then you have to apply that to the context of the market that you're in. And it's extremely interesting. You know, I come from an industrial and organizational background. So my human services orientation went to industrial and organizational psychology, and then organizational development and change and educational leadership. But in the industrial and organizational psychology space, there's a lot of people who can't find jobs in that area. And they turn around and say, well, the degree doesn't work. And I say, au contraire, mon frère, it's worked phenomenally for me, you know? So sometimes you have to look at things differently. Sometimes you have to look at things differently, and sometimes you have to approach your approach differently. How are you approaching the market? How are you approaching your vertical? What is your vision? What is your plan? What is your brand? Do you have one? So let's just be real clear for a moment. Whether you think you have a brand or you don't, you do. You have a brand. Whether you're strategically asserting yourself in a way that could help you go from employee to entrepreneur is all on you. Whether you have a brand that's going to help you make your yearly income as an employee, monthly as an entrepreneur, or even weekly as an entrepreneur is also based on you and what you do and how you present yourself and how you market yourself. So ask yourself this, and we're going to go to a break real quick, but I want you to ask yourself this. Am I marketing myself in my vertical? And am I marketing myself for my next situation in the vertical that I want to be in?
It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I don't talk theory, I don't talk hyperbole, I don't talk opinion. Nothing I talk is anything but evidence-based.
During the G-Circle retreat in Atlanta, I had the pleasure and the honor of listening to Mr. Sean Rais. He will not only impact your organization, but he will elevate your team to another level.
When you change you, when you put you into the equation, the whole system is different. I guarantee you, you got the right thing. You are the right person. If you can present yourself in the best way possible, there's no negotiation.
His energy is infectious, and I have so many takeaways from the presentation that I can't wait to get started and implement them today to see the result.
All right. All right. There we go. There we go. Let me bring these things up the right way. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, Bobby, you got to, sometimes you got to operate these things yourself, right? Sometimes you got to be ready and you got to be strategic and you got to operate these things yourself. So everything we do is organic, guys. That's how you could tell, right? We're not pre-planned. Like, we're not pre-planned. This is completely organic. You're watching me in real time.
Right.
You're watching me and Bobby in real time. Bobby, what was your experience when you became, let's say when you came from Branded Like a Leader? Let's just use Branded Like a Leader as an example. So you came out of Branded Like a Leader, and going in, you may have said, okay, great. We're going to hit the ground running as soon as I leave the course or graduate from the course. The money's going to be waiting, a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. What did that look like? What was the experience?
Oh my goodness. I can just laugh because I remember being so naive. I remember the course was so good that I made money during the course, right? So unlike some courses, because I've taken a few, you have to wait till the end to try to see if it's going to work for you. Through Branded Like a Leader, I don't remember exactly which week it was in, but I remember closing money before the course was over, if my memory serves me right? So when that happened, I was very excited. And I said to myself that, well, this is how it's going to be. I'm just going to keep closing money week after week. And it slowed down, but it didn't slow down because the course stopped working. It slowed down because I didn't know the next step. So thankfully, there was Closing Like a Leader that came to my rescue. But from the course, that one particularly, because we're talking about Branded Like a Leader, what was so impactful for me was that you could take something and get an instantaneous result, an instantaneous, so to speak, return on investment, depending on how effectively you implemented what you learned. So I thought that was really exciting as I went through the course, because I had known to go through courses and not get that return on investment as quickly. The second thing that ties into the naive part was I just didn't know how important the community was. So I went through the course and I left after the course was over for several reasons. But one of the reasons was I just, I felt like I got it. I made it. I got through the course. I finished. It was daunting course. And I was like, yeah, all right. I know half of these people aren't out here going through courses this rigorous. So I felt accomplished. And I got into the marketplace and realized how lonely it can be when you're a lion without a pride. And that's something that I realized was a lion without a pride is prey. So for me, it was twofold. It was one, learning the speed in which your return on investment can manifest for you if you execute on the right information at the right time. And then two, understanding the power and importance of community. It was absolutely instrumental.
Bobby, you said something there. You said a lion without a pride is prey. Mm-hmm. You said a lion without a pride is prey. That's powerful. That's powerful because you have to be aligned with the right people that are doing the same thing. If you don't have the encouragement, then you're out of sync. You don't really know what's going on. So staying inside of a community is kind of keeping your fingers to the pulse. And then when you are inside of a community of high level performing executive entrepreneurs who are leaders, everybody, bachelor's degree, master's degree, speakers, coaches, consultants, really doing the work. Not aspiring to, but actually doing the work. Multiple six-figure speakers, multiple six-figure analysts, and everybody a professional. What does that look like as opposed to communities that you've been a part of where more people are aspirational as opposed to realization?
Yeah.
Talk to that for a minute.
One of the things that I noticed about, and I'm going to draw on my military experience a bit here and kind of connect it to this because it's just a great connector for me, is in the core, we have these guys that are, say, newly promoted. And then you've got the individuals that have been running the show. And when you're newly promoted, we give you more and more responsibility so that you can kind of get acclimated. But when you're running the show, it's almost like a rhythm to things. And when I go to other communities that, let's say, everyone isn't a six-figure earner, or everyone isn't a multiple six-figure earner, or they're aspiring, it's not a rhythm. And that lack of rhythm, I have found, is very, very important because chaos is like always brewing on the outside of an entrepreneur. Like you've got this order that you create through rhythm and through cadence and through executing in a very systematic way. And then you've got chaos that's all around you. So one thing that I really learned to appreciate was the rhythm of a well-oiled machine that can only come from people with experience in what they're doing. And when I go into other communities, I still respect the environment, but you can feel the environment too. You can tell that, that doesn't feel right, or that's a little bit off. And I think that the reason I brought that point up was simply because there's, in my personal experience, I learn better when the environment is conducive for learning. And I think when there's a good order, there's a solid flow, there's a communication where no one's stingy, you know, like when everybody's got 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, 7, like nobody's holding on to information like the Holy Grail. But when you go into other communities, when everybody's aspiring to get that first 6, so they haven't hit that 20K month yet, you know, getting information can feel like pulling teeth. And I think that that's difficult to learn in those types of environments. So that's something that I learned to appreciate.
Very good. Very good. So a couple of things that I hear. It's good to be hungry, terrible to be thirsty. It's good to be hungry, terrible to be thirsty. So I try to create the environment with a vision, right? The environment with the vision and based on evidence-based qualifications, as opposed to rah-rah, feely good stuff. You know, motivation is good, but what after that? That's where discipline comes in, and that's where sound evidence-based principles come in that give you the direction and the actual steps to take. You can wake up energized in the morning, but if you don't have a GPS set, then you're not getting anywhere. You're all revved up with nowhere to go. And that's what I hear a lot. You know, it's phenomenal. We feel we're really energetic and it's great. But what do I do now? How do we turn it from motivation to monetization? How do we take it from the energy to the economics? How do we take it from the big personality to creating the personal brand for me? What does it do for me? So how do we go from the person to the money? How do we get to the monetization? And, you know, it's beautiful because so every program that we've ever done has always been based on what we received from our clients. I created Branded Like a Leader because that was what the people said they needed. And then after that, they said, where do we go get the coaching certification? And I really didn't see the qualification. And I didn't want to send people back to places where they're going to have to go to school for 6 years like I did. I have a master's degree in evidence-based coaching. That wouldn't have been fair. You'd have still been in school. You'd have been at the 3rd year. And they're not going to teach you how to market anyway, which takes me to other certification courses where they certify you, but they don't teach you how to monetize. I've helped people with multiple certifications and all of the credentials that you could possibly imagine, but no revenue, no community, no program. That's what they don't teach you. So there's competency, and then there's confidence, and then there's context. There's competence, which is really knowing your stuff. There's confidence, which means knowing how to speak it and feeling comfortable in it. And then there's context. Well, how do I apply that to Facebook? How do I apply that to LinkedIn? How do I post? How do I position myself on LinkedIn to monetize this MBA that I've got? I've got the education, I've got the experience, and I've got the expertise, but I still don't have the freedom. My thing was this. I did not go get a master's degree so I could get a job. I got a master's degree so I could build a business and build a life and be a master of my domain. Big difference, huge difference. And I was speaking with someone earlier and they were like, well, Sean, you know, it's one thing to have a business on the side, and it's another thing to be a full-time entrepreneur, and it's another thing to be a phenomenal personal brand. I said, yes, they're uniquely different qualifications. You're right. But listen, guys, cut and dry, like Branded Like a Leader 2.0 is not going to concern with, you have to know how to speak. You got to know how to coach. You got to know how to consult or whatever it is that you want to do. We're not teaching the alphabet. We're teaching you how to monetize it. We want to show you how to go from certified to monetized, how to go from listening to leveraging, how to go from learning to leveraging and executing. right? So from the entertainment, there's no entertainment. We're not going to be entertaining you. There will be no circus clowns. There won't be music playing. We're not going to bring in MCs and DJs. We're going to show you how to get money off the competence that you already have 9 times out of 10. And if you're not at a place where you have the ability to speak, then speaking like a leader is for you. If you're not at a place where you know how to coach, then coaching like a leader is for you. If you've never heard of branding, branded like a leader is for you. However, if you've heard of those things and you've got some competency and you're ready to turn that into commerce, then branded like a leader 2.0 is going to be for you. And we're going to show you how to go from certified to monetized, how to go from encouraged to economized, and how to go from motivation to monetization. Bobby, it's going to be a tremendous thrill. We're going to pop up just all around Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. We're everywhere right now. YouTube. Say hello to the people. Phenomenal morning, guys. This is what we do, right? Look for us because we're going to be out. Bobby, let the people know where you're at now. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you went from branded like a leader to kind of a consultant, and now you're actually in the mergers and acquisitions space. Tell us a little bit more about that, and tell the people about flawless consulting for mergers and acquisitions and what that looks like.
Man, it's been very exciting because when I came in, I was figuring things out, and then I started out with basic consulting, and I was consulting in a market that just could not pay like you would expect to pay for a certain level of expertise. So I learned through the branded like a leader curriculum and course how to say my number with my chest. You know, that was the first step for me, was really laying claim to my worth, you know, and then positioning myself in the marketplace. And as I went through that, you know, with repetition and you start getting your, you know, bearings and things start working for you, you know, you get your confidence up. And as I got my confidence up, I realized that I outgrew a particular market. And I was like, okay, where do I go to now? So when I outgrew that particular market, I started looking at CFO services and fractional CFO services. Like, I need people that need a more robust necessity, because I had 11 years in data analytics from the United States Marine Corps. My bachelor's background of study is applied entrepreneurship with a concentration in finance and economics. And then I went off to some of the Ivy League certifications, and I'm still in different programs, you know. So as my confidence,
you're in Harvard right now, right?
I am. I'm studying with them right now. They've got some phenomenal courses, very dense stuff, but I'm getting through it. I'm getting through it week after week. And as I grew, I was like, okay, I'm outgrowing this market now. So it was, and all of this happened in, 18 to 24 months, you know, because it started off slow for me because I was still in the Marine Corps. As soon as I got out of the Marine Corps and I was putting all this stuff into full-fledged, boom, things took off. So here we are today in the mergers and acquisition space, because I got to a point where I was like, I had to ask myself, who can I serve the best? You know, who can I serve the best? And it boiled down to, I have a background in economics, finance, entrepreneurship. I can close, I can design businesses, I can read a business model, I can build business plans. Like, who can I serve the best? And then it dawned on me, synergies. So when you do a merger or an acquisition, a synergy is simply the concept of aligning resources effectively, even though those resources are not of the same organic business. So a synergy could be Walmart partnering up with a company that sells hot dogs. Like, what's the synergy there? Well, maybe they both have some distribution capabilities. Walmart does things that sells your stuff individually. These guys sell things by doing wholesaling. So let's say Walmart went out and bought this hot dogs stand, or this, well, it wouldn't be a stand, but this hot dog manufacturing organization. And they said, hey, you guys have a synergy with us because we sell hot dogs. We sell a lot of them, and we want to control the cost and the price, because if we can control the cost, then we can maximize profitability on this line item, and we can drive more revenue. So that simple concept is what a lot of businesses are looking for. They're like, who can I buy in the sense of acquisition, or who can I merge with to improve my market share or improve my dominance in the market and improve profitability and revenue. So once I started thinking about that, I then started thinking about business models and like how business models can be rearranged, designed, and long story short, here I am working with individuals that say, hey, I want to buy a company. I'm like, what kind of company do you want to buy? Do you have a company right now? They're like, yes, I do. And I'd like to buy a company here so that I can branch out and do this. So a really good example, and then I'll kind of bring it all to a head here, is there is a company that I'm working with that is getting into the telemedicine space. And in this space, they were working really well on ground and they were mobile. And in the mobile space and on ground, the revenue was solid. But then we started looking at companies that we could potentially acquire that already had the cloud infrastructure or the application infrastructure. So what we would do is we would purchase the company. Once you purchase the company, you would then see if, well, you will want to see if the synergies are there prior to, because if they're not, then we want to account for that in the form of risk. If you've, and here's just a nugget for you. If you've ever seen a company acquire another company, and these are publicly traded companies, the stock value of a company that just conducted an acquisition normally dips. And the reason that stock value dips is because there's a lot of acclimation that goes on. And sometimes mergers aren't successful or acquisitions aren't successful. And the reallocation of getting the new company or the new assets up to speed can be such a daunting task that people that are invested in those companies lose faith in them. So those are a lot of the things that we do, is we make sure that the synergies are there and that the transition is effective and that it makes sense. So for you guys, that's where I am. And that's what this has been like for me. And it's been super exciting. So thanks, Coach.
So that's been in 2 years, you said?
Yeah,
so 24 months. Two, unbelievable. So that's the kind of growth going from, I don't know what I'm going to do, branded like a leader entry, branded like a leader 1.0 too, right? So you went through branded like a leader 1.0. Bobby's still waiting for branded like a leader 2.0. It's coming now. And the focus is monetization, going from certified to monetized, going from the crowd to the endowed, right? From the huge rah-rah to the actual cha-ching, from rah-rah to cha-ching, from certified to monetized, from the energy to the economy. We want to help you monetize the intelligence that you already have. Because a lot of times we come into these different situations already competent. We just don't have the confidence. So it's been through the Leadership Leverage program, which comes with Branded Like a Leader for a small time, where Bobby was able to grow his idea and grow his identity. Because you're not going to, I promise you, I tell everybody that where you're trying to go or who you come in as is not who you're going to be as we move you through these channels. And the reason you think you're here is not why you're here. Bobby, let me ask you this real quick before we close out. Did you ever think in your wildest dreams, before you came in Branded Like a Leader, that you'd be doing mergers and acquisitions?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely.
Did you even think that, well, first let's just tell the people, like, what has the revenue increase been? What do the numbers look like?
Man, so just the first year to the second year was a 400% increase. And I came from having no business whatsoever. Like I hit the ground running, implemented what I learned, and had a 400% increase.
Let me ask you real quick. Did you think that was a possibility? Even
No,
such a thing within a year's time?
No, I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't. Because I had ran businesses before, ironically enough, and have been a part of partnerships before, and we never saw that kind of traction. So no, absolutely not.
And just to give the people an inkling to understand how you're able to transverse these different states of business, within the first 6 months of 2023, What happened?
Man, we crushed last year's numbers. So what it took us roughly 12 months to do, we were able to do in about 6 months, 6.5, give or take. So
and that's after 400. That's after 400% growth.
That's after 400% growth. Like if we keep it up, I mean, 1,000% growth is not off the channel.
Let me just make sure I'm understanding this. Does that mean that with the additional doubling up in half the time, is that 800% growth at this point from the very beginning?
From the very beginning, yes. Yes.
From the very beginning, it's 800% growth.
Right.
Let me tell you guys something. Business is fun. This is why business is fun. This is why business is fun. And let me just ask this so everybody understands the difference between hungry and thirsty. Are you done yet? Are you satisfied with 800% growth?
Not even close,
right?
Yeah.
We're looking for mammoth numbers, guys. Mammoth numbers. So Branded Like a Leader 2.0 is called, subtitle, $1 billion brand. $1 billion brand. You're looking for a $1 billion valuation. And if you're not, you're thinking wrong. $1 million is not enough. Stop letting people coin you to death and, pigeonhole you thinking, because you're going to hit whatever you aim at. That I can guarantee you. You're going to hit whatever you aim at. This is why I tell people, really set your goals the right way and create your ideal life and then the ideal business that supports it. Because if you want to become a speaker, you'll be, as a matter of fact, God made you a speaker. If you can speak, then God made you a speaker, right? If you want to become a coach, then you'll become a coach. Matter of fact, if you've ever given anyone advice, then you coach them. You have coached prior to. The question is, how does it become applicable to these social media streets, and how do you monetize it as a business as opposed to a hobby? And that's what we want to show you, how to monetize it, how to apply it, and how to get revenue out of it. What we call MRR and ARR, monthly recurring revenue, annual recurring revenue. Because if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. And you're still going to have a job no matter how many certifications you have. And someone else is still going to control your vacation time no matter how many certifications you have. And you're going to spend more money traveling to these different things than creating your own thing. So let's just pull the smoke and mirrors and the monkeys and snakes out of the room, and let's get to business and let's figure this out so you can really get monetized. Branded Like a Leader 2.0. The link is right there. Guys, follow us, tag us. If you got a business, if you're looking to merge and acquire more business, Bobby's your guy. Bobby Jackson is your guy. If you're looking for a CFO, someone to manage the other side of your business, someone to become like your financial guru, Bobby's your guy. He still does that, even though he does the mergers and acquisitions piece. If you're looking to position yourself and build a phenomenal personal brand and find out who you could really be in business and go from playing small to playing all out and growing your revenue 400%, then 800%, then I'm your guy. My name is Sean Wright East, and this has been another corner clinic, another coaching clinic for the $1 billion brand. And tag us, follow us so that you'll catch us next time, because you won't know when we appear, but you'll need what we have to give you. Let's grow. What you're looking at right now is the new face of leadership. I chose to go the route of SOE, standards of excellence. So I help people put zeros behind their numbers. I help people move up in or out of their organization and get paid their annual income monthly, their monthly income weekly, and their weekly income daily. I promise you, if you follow me at all, you're going to want to use something to write with. CSA first. CSA. Clarify, simplify, and amplify. Clarify, simplify, and amplify. It starts with a decision. Who do you want to be and what do you want to do? Who do you want to be? You have to define that. If you don't know, then it's vague and it'll never be clear. The problem that we have is clarity. We walk into an organization happy to be there, happy that they accepted us, but we don't have a clear goal.
That's why people stay in the same organization year after year after year, go to the same vacation spots with the same people and talk the same amount of nonsense around the same water cooler. So when I go into an organization and someone says they've been here for 20 years and they're still around $60, $70, $80,000, I'm like, whew, it's chilly. It's a little bit cold when I know that all it takes for you to raise your prices, whether it's inside or outside of an organization, is self-belief and dedication. Brand you and not what you do. So when I meet people, I ask people, tell me a little bit about yourself, and they immediately tell me what they do. That's not who you are. Branding is who you are. Marketing is how people find out about you. So when you say, I'm a photographer, you just lumped yourself in with a million other photographers. What's special about you? Why should I work with you? I don't need a hand with a camera. I need a man with a story. A woman with a goal, a vision. Someone with an idea of what they want to be and who they want to impact in their lives. That's what moves me. We know where we belong, whether we're in that seat or not. We heard the word legacy and we were pulled to come. I flew in last minute. Let's go. Leadership, legacy, love. Whew. I gotta be there. So what happens in marketing is when you say, I am you put yourself in what we call a red sea. You're now fighting against a million competitors with a million different things. Clarify. Who are you? What do you stand for? And then simplify it. Don't make it 10 things. Bruce Lee said, I do not fear the man who has thrown 10,000 kicks. He says, I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. You can have the most mouth-watering steak that the world has ever seen, but if you try to position it or place it in a vegan neighborhood, you make no money. Who are you trying to market to? Sometimes we don't support each other. Sometimes you got to go outside of your community, outside of your neighborhood, outside of your phone book to find someone who will support you. So if your business is hurting, think about the place that you're trying to move, whatever it is that you're moving, and the people that you're trying to sell to. You want to become the OVO. The OVO is the only viable option in your vertical. The only viable option in your vertical. We're not here for competition. We're here for domination. We're here for domination. Period. And if you feel differently, you're probably in the wrong room. Is anybody ready for the fifth one? Are you ready for the fifth one? Might want to capture this. Might want to capture this. For God's sakes, man, your prices. Your prices. We should stand out because of price. Some people look for the lowest price. You're making a big mistake because you're defining yourself. Your success comes from mindset and perception. If you're competing over the lowest price, there's a problem. Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands. Train people. I'm going to leave you with this. We train people how to treat us when we meet us based on how we treat ourselves. Brand you and not what you do. Thank you.